Hey and welcome. Today we're diving into that invisible force that powers pretty much everything in our lives, electricity. I mean, think about it. From the phone in your hand to the lights overhead, it is always working. But how? How does it actually work? Well, let's get into it.
When you turn a knob that says volume or power, what are you actually controlling? We talk about electricity being powerful, but what does that really truly mean? How does this invisible energy flow from a wall outlet and, make things happen? That's exactly what we're going to break down today.
To get our heads around these ideas, we're going to use a really powerful analogy, one that even seasoned electrical engineers use. Just imagine that electricity is like water flowing through a set of pipes. Seriously, this one idea is the key. It's what's going to make everything else just click. It's our guide for this whole thing.
Okay, so to really speak the language of electricity, you need to know its three core words. These are the absolute building blocks that define everything: voltage, current, and resistance. So let's tackle them one by one, using our water pipe analogy.
First up is voltage. In our water analogy, voltage is simply the water pressure. That's it. It's the force, the oomph, the push that gets the water moving in the first place, right? No pressure, no flow. The higher the voltage, the stronger that push is.
Now this here is the more formal, textbook definition, but a difference in energy level is really just a fancier way of saying pressure. Think about a big water tower. The water at the very top has way more potential energy than the water at the bottom, right? And that energy difference is what creates the pressure that pushes it down through the pipes. It's the exact same idea with voltage.
Okay, next up, current. So if voltage is the pressure, then current is the actual flow rate of the water. It's a measure of how much water, or in our case, how much electrical charge is actually moving past a single point in that pipe every single second. We measure this in something called amperes, or just amps for short.
And this slide here really nails the point. 1 ampere is a specific amount of charge flowing per second. So it's not about how fast the individual little charges are moving, but how much total charge is flowing past a point. It's a measure of volume over time, kind of like gallons per minute for a hose.
And the third member of our trio is resistance. In our water system, this is basically anything that gets in the way of the flow. It could be a really narrow section of pipe, maybe a clog, or even just the natural friction of the water rubbing against the pipe walls. Resistance, which we measure in ohms, slows down or impedes the current.
So, now we've met our three main characters: voltage, the pusher; current, the flow; and resistance, the thing that gets in the way. So how do they all relate to each other? Well, it turns out there's one beautifully simple, elegant rule that ties them all together.
This is it. This is the big one. Ohm's law. V equals I times R. Voltage equals current multiplied by resistance. This little formula is pretty much the foundation of all basic electronics. It perfectly describes the relationship between the pressure, the flow, and the restriction in a system.
Let's just quickly walk through this using our analogy, because it just makes so much sense. So look at the first row. If you crank up the pressure, the voltage, but the pipe width, the resistance, stays the same, what's going to happen? Well, the flow has to increase. More pressure forces more water through. Now, what if you keep the pressure the same, but you make the pipe narrower? You increase the resistance. The flow's got to go down. It's totally intuitive, and it's all right there in that one little formula.
Now, it's super important to remember that these three things don't just work on their own. For electricity to actually do anything useful, it needs a complete, unbroken path to travel on. It needs what we call a circuit.
Yeah, you can think of it like a racetrack or a closed plumbing system. And there are two really simple rules of the road. First, it has to be a closed loop. The path has to be totally unbroken for the current to flow at all. If there's any break in the line, everything just stops. And second, the flow is conserved. The amount of current at any point in that loop is exactly the same. The current doesn't get used up by a light bulb any more than water gets used up by spinning a water wheel. It just keeps on flowing.
So why did we spend all this time on pressure and flow and pipes? Because understanding this relationship is absolutely crucial to understanding two very real-world things: how we measure the actual work that electricity does, which we call power, and maybe more importantly, what makes it dangerous.
So how do we measure the work that electricity can do? Well, that's called power, and we measure it in watts. And it's actually just the product of voltage and current. See, it's not just the pressure, and it's not just the flow, it's the combination of both that gives you the actual power. Think about one of those high-pressure water jets that can cut through steel. It needs both incredible pressure, that's the voltage, and a steady flow of water, that's the current, to have enough power to do the job. It's the same thing with electricity.
And this leads us to a really critical question. We've seen how these values work together to make our devices run, but what happens when they get really, really big?
Whoa. Okay, just look at the insane range of electrical current we see in the world. All the way at the top, you've got a massive lightning bolt, and way, way down at the bottom, you have the tiny microscopic currents that are firing in your brain right now. And somewhere in the middle, you've got a toaster. But look right here. The amount of current needed to stop a human heart. It is a tiny, tiny fraction of an amp. It takes a shockingly small amount of flow to be incredibly dangerous.
So, this leads to the classic question, what's more dangerous, voltage or current? And the real answer is, you need both. Voltage is the push. You need enough of it to force electricity through your body's natural resistance. But it's the flow. It's the current itself passing through your organs that actually causes the physical damage. The push creates the potential for danger, but the flow is what does the harm.
You know, the source material for this explainer leaves us with a really perfect thought. Learning this stuff is like taking your very first music lesson. You've just learned the basic notes, the basic scales. Real proficiency, real understanding only comes with practice. So the next time you flip a switch, just take a second and remember that invisible world you're commanding, the pressure, the flow, the resistance. You now speak the basic language of electricity. So, what will you build with it?